Have you ever signed a contract to sell your house for a really good price? And then the buyer's appraiser says, well, the house really isn't worth that amount. Then what? Well, now the buyer's lender isn't going to give him or her the mortgage loan because it doesn't appraise. This happens all too often in a rising real estate market and even quite often in stable real estate markets. They just say, it's not worth that much, so we can't give you the loan. Hi, I'm real estate broker and attorney at law, David Dowell. House appraisals can be a real pain in the you-know-what. I often have sellers who want to price their house way above the fair market value. Not really what realtors want to hear because that makes it very difficult to sell the house. But it only takes one buyer who just absolutely falls in love with the house to make a really stupid high offer. And if the buyer's paying cash for the property, then great. No lender involved, no appraisers. Let him pay all he wants. But if the buyer's counting on getting a loan for the purchase, then that's a problem. You see, during the closing process, the buyer's lender is going to have a professional appraisal done for that house or condo or townhouse. And if that appraisal is lower than the sale price, we refer to that as the house did not appraise. Then the lender isn't going to approve the loan under the terms initially agreed upon by the buyer. So what happens then? Is the deal dead? No, it's not necessarily. So don't panic. The buyer's realtor would reach out to yours and inform him or her about the appraisal. So now, in order to save the deal, you've got a couple of options. One, the buyer can renegotiate for a lower price, basically to equal the appraisal amount. But that won't make seller very happy, right? The seller wants the highest price they can get. They've already agreed to a higher price. But the reality is, seller will possibly have to do that, lower the price, if they ever want to sell the house to a non-cash buyer. The other option is to require the buyer to put more cash down up front, so that the lender is still lending the same amount of money as before. But that's the ideal situation for the seller. But the buyer may not be able to do that. Buyer is wanting to decrease that price until it meets his lender's appraisal. So when I list a home for sale at, let's say, a price significantly higher than the fair market value, which, like I said, many sellers demand, I make sure that my sellers are aware of the consequences and that they're prepared. I also make sure that if I do get an offer that's higher than what I think the house will appraise at, I try to vet the buyer just a bit to see if they do have, the extra cash to put down in case the house does not appraise. So there are solutions to this issue. But the point is that as a seller, you need to be aware of the appraisal issue when you want to list your house for way higher than the market value says it's worth. Okay. Talk to your realtor about this before you set that price and list it. It's really important. If you'd like to learn a few more strategies or just have some questions about this appraisals or anything else, feel free to reach out to me by text, phone, or email, and I'll be happy to share with you what I know. Thanks again and have a great day.